A year. That's how long I've had Rita, our VW T6.1 transporter camper van. And I'm not going to stand here and tell you that it's all been absolutely perfect. Some things broke, some things cost more money than expected, and some things I really should have done from day one, but I didn't. We didn't. So here's the honest review of year one. The tour of where we're at right now, what I've upgraded, what freaking broke on me as well, or snapped on me, and what it's actually cost to run this thing properly and use it as a camper van. There's no highlight reels, no nothing like that. It's just real life, what it's actually been like. Right, let's start with the van itself. So this is where we're at after a year, and the first thing you'll notice is we've upgraded the alloys and the tyres from the standard. We do have standard suspension in there. Now in our camper van Rita, we don't just drive on roads or motorways. I like to go hiking and off-road, and this all-terrain tyre gives me the confidence needed to do that. Before it didn't, and it was an absolute nightmare. And they look better too, and I'm going to be honest, that was part of the decision too. I prefer the look of these. As you can see, that everything else on the outside has had some few little modifications that were done from the conversion company. So we've had no other major, apart from the front bumper and rear bumper, no major changes. It's still a T6.1 and it still turns heads, and I won't lie, that doesn't get old. I freaking love it. The cab is just as standard. We do want to get some floor mats, but we haven't actually found a set that we like yet. The only thing different here is, apart from it all being standard in the front, one thing mentioning is we do have the captain's swivel seats here. Turning these round took me longer to figure out than I'm going to prepare to admit, to be honest. Once you know and how to do it, so do this at home, it is super simple to do. But if you're in a car park or a muddy field with rain coming down and it's the first time you've done it, just take your time and figure it out. You'll get there, but definitely do it before you actually go out on your first trip. I can't be the only one that didn't realise how to actually do it. So here we have obviously the kitchen on one side, the cupboard linings in here. These cupboard linings I'll get to in a moment when we talk about upgrades, but they just stop everything from really moving around and grips to the bottom and stops all the rattling, so you don't have to turn your music up even further. And this over here is the Savvy Van control panel. I'll cover this properly in the must-have section, but the short version is that this thing makes the van actually livable off-grid. Obviously we've got the heating, we've got all the power, all controlled from here. If you don't have one, definitely get this on your list. So after a year, this is what the van is looking like. Okay, it has evolved a little bit. We've broke some things, we've repaired some things. I'm even getting some things for 3D printed soon, but we still absolutely love her. So the things I've added, I genuinely couldn't live without now, but we're to get on to that in just a mo. Right, what broke? Because things do break, and I'd rather tell you about it than pretend that like nothing happens and nothing breaks and everything is going to be absolutely fine. Back headrest on the front seat. So this is my own fault on this one, because when we had the bed out and everything, I kept leaning over to the front to lock the van up, and guess what happened? I put my 14 stone of weight on it and it's broke internally. Now the lucky thing is that it took Catherine about 4 months to figure out it was broke. Then I admitted it. It was me. It was me. So I've broken this clip on the inside of there 3 times. The annoying part isn't even the cost. It's that you just can't buy the clip on its own. You have to buy the whole assembly, which is £8. So at the moment, got these just wedged in, so you have to buy all of this fitting, whereas all I want is the little bit under there. So I have to wedge and wedge at the moment. Every time it costs me £8, but I've actually got one of the lads in work 3D printing me a replacement right now, and I'll link that video below when it's coming up, including the file if you wanted to print or 3D print your own. And yes, I probably should just put less in the drawer. Maybe. Now, one thing that really annoyed me was the solar panel, or the solar charging of the 2 leisure batteries. on this fan. It wasn't working. I did take it down to the conversion company. I said, it is all wired up fine, it is all working, and it was in winter at the time. So I just thought, well, maybe it's just not getting enough solar to charge up the batteries. So after much Googling and much chat GPTing, I finally got to the root cause of the issue. And it was a loose screw in the back. That was it. Now my solar actually outputs more than I generally use if I've just got the fridge on. So that off-grid living will last even longer. That's it. I did it. It was a screw. So if your solar isn't working, instead of going all complex and getting like electrical gadgets out to check currents and whatnot, check the screw, check the fuse, check the screw. That's it. You have your Victron app if you're running a Victron system. And as soon as I turned that screw up, bosh, solar was coming into the battery. So that's 3 things that went wrong in a year. That's fine. I'm honest. Now you know. Now let's get on to the upgrades. So a good bit that I've actually changed and a good upgrade I've done, which you've just seen, I've got a whole video on it, is the alloy wheels and tyres. They are an absolute game changer for us personally in the comfort, not the fuel economy, but the comfort and the ability to go more off-road. But the tyres and alloys appear in the upgrades list because they are goddamn worth it, and they were the most expensive upgrade that we've done on this van to date. Number 2 is the mattress up in the pop top, and this is one that I would tell people to just spend the money on because you will be sleeping up there. So we actually have the Comfort Pro up there, the 1.5-inch version. I will link it down in the description below. It stays up there permanently, so you're not having to pull it out all the time. You don't need to pump it up or deflate it or anything. It's a 1.5-inch basically memory foam mattress, and is genuinely really comfortable because I get to sleep on it all the time when Catherine and Seb and the dogs are downstairs in the bed. Now downstairs in the main bed, it is a duvet. It's a duvet all day long. I find it incredibly comfortable. Catherine not so much, but obviously she does sleep on it more down here if we're all going out in the camper van as a family. The original situation with the mattress or lack of mattress was absolutely just don't do it. Definitely get a comfortable mattress, and one that suits you and also is the right size for your rib bed or rock and roll bed. Now this third upgrade is obviously less obvious, and I alluded to it at the start of the video, and that's these linings in these drawers. Honestly, personally, it's a game changer for me. This is all they are. They're cheap to do. It makes a big difference. So if you haven't done yours, like, get it done. Super simple. One thing that we would add to this is just some little stickers to actually hold it down in place. Because if I pull on this, everything will move. If I pull on that, everything will move. So that's all we've got to do. But it's really stops all the noise. You can see we've got it top, middle, bottom shelf, and also on the right hand side too. So really the 3 upgrades that we've done in the year are not flashy or anything. They just make our van life way much more better, more comfortable, more practical as well. So, and that is the whole point. So none of this is sponsored on here. This is just purely what we've changed over the year. And obviously the things that after a year I couldn't imagine living without. Obviously the Savvy Van control panel. I do have a whole video on this which I will link up there so you can watch it. Get it on your list. It's a game changer. It does more than what you can see. So from your control panel, you can see how much battery you've got remaining. You can turn the reading lights and the lights on and off. You can see how much is left in your water tank. You can turn on your water pump. You can turn on your fridge. You can turn on your inverter. And you can also see how level your van actually is. So whether you need to put the ramps in, you see your battery usage and seeing how many days you actually have left. Bear in mind, we have solar coming in because that is all fixed now. So it really is super useful, and you must get it on your list. And before I had it, I was guessing whether I had enough battery, guessing whether the van was level enough. Now we just look at the panel. It takes the stress out of going off grid. And if you're setting up a van properly, this goes in early. Next, we obviously have, this is also a no-brainer, the diesel heater. I don't know the specific brand. I generally would have to check, but what I can tell you is that it gets up to temperature fast, keeps the van warm, properly and runs off the diesel, so you're not draining off your leisure battery to stay warm overnight, and it doesn't use a lot of diesel either. In winter, like personally, this isn't optional. It makes the van usable when it otherwise basically wouldn't be. It's on the list because a year in, I never once wished that I didn't have it. Obviously already covered the linings. Honestly, get them, such an easy little fix. And obviously the solar, once I'd sorted it and tightened up that screw, it was absolutely flawless. Proper off-grid capability, linked up with a Savvy van that monitors the battery. The solar then obviously keeps the batteries completely topped up, and we have 260 amp hours batteries total, because we have 2 of them. And you can basically just park anywhere, go off grid for a few days if you want, or like I do, go out hiking with the lads, and you can leave the van absolutely anywhere. Go hiking, come back, warm up, loads of power. It has been an absolute game changer since I fixed it. So that combination, the solar and the Savvy van, it's what makes this van work for us personally. So this is the section that most van life videos skip. So let's talk about what this actually costs. So I should have done a bit more research, but the insurance on the camper van, a proper conversion insurance, that if in the event of anything was to happen, that you'd actually get a decent payout to be able to purchase a van again, and it is fully insured. When you get the camper van or a van, no claims bonus starts again. I thought I could just use my car ones because, you know, it's driving them on the road. I'm like, no claims bonus for 20 years, but no, get a van, stripped, starts again. So year 1 was very expensive. It was £768. Now after year 1, which we've just passed now, hence the video, it's dropped down to £523. This is fully insured, social, domestic, pleasure, commuting, absolutely everything, just in case I do use it for work, for anything like that, which I rarely do. Fully covered, fully comprehensive. Peace of mind. So definitely factor that in when you're purchasing your new camper van. The van is still under warranty because it is relatively new. We have till the end of December, and that's the 3-year warranty period with VW. But we are going to take out a service plan, and we are going to take out extended warranty. Now those two combined are a further £80 a month. That's £960 a year. Is that right? That's right. It is worth it for peace of mind, but definitely budget it, certainly after the warranty runs out, or if you've bought a van without warranty, then that is an additional monthly bolt on, obviously, or you can pay annually, but I just tend to do things like that monthly. The fuel is ridiculous in the UK right now. A full tank in this van will cost me £120 and will give me around 415 miles. Now I do know with the swamp wheels that this affects your miles to gallon, and I don't know how. Like, I think I'm worse off by about 5 miles to the gallon. So for a long weekend away, it's fine because you're not going to be filling up loads. You'll probably end up using half a tank. When Seb and I went off to Mablethorpe the other day, it didn't cost much at all. I'm just saying that is for a full tank with the current diesel price. But if you are going on these longer regular runs, or you are using it as a commuting vehicle to and from work, or your daily driver, then it is really going to add up quickly. Now campsites do vary a lot. One local to me is Fine Shades, £35 a night. Not that many facilities, great for the kids because it's got parks and a wood. The one I stayed to, which was a holiday park, which had entertainment, swimming, had loads of facilities, £10 a night. So factor that in and do a little bit of research. This was by the beach as well. So campsites do vary massively, absolute massively. I'm not part of any camper van club, caravanning club, that thing. So those are just the raw costs if you and I were to stay wherever. Just do your research on it a bit. Look what facilities they do have to offer, and then just go for whatever suits you. It's all relative, it's all subjective. So honestly, that's the real picture after 1 year of owning a VW T6.1 camper van called Rita. If you're going to buy one, go in with your eyes open. Do your research. Don't be caught out on the way like I was, certainly with the insurance. I assumed something and I couldn't have been more wrong. So, year 1 done. So that's it. Year 1 done. Complete. Finito. A tour. A few things that broke. A few upgrades that genuinely really make a difference. And the kit that I generally won't go without, such as obviously the Savvy van, the solar, the diesel heater, and now the all-terrain tyres. And we discuss what it actually costs to run one of these, and this is even before we start talking about even just buying one. It's been a good year, but not a perfect one, with the breakages and the things that kind of went wrong, but it's been a good one, and the van generally does keep getting better while I figure out what actually works. If you've got a T6.1 or a VW, or you're thinking about getting one, drop any questions you have down in the comments, and I would definitely be more than happy to help. I'm probably not the best person to speak to, but I can give you a real world understanding on what I've been through and what we've found out along the way with Rita. The cupboard clip fix will be coming soon. Once the lads in work actually print it out for me, and they're printing out 10, 3D printing it. So I'll show you that. I'm genuinely really excited to show you that, because it's going to save me £8 a time every time I break it. If this video was useful, then please do subscribe. I make van life and camping life content, and I try to keep it as practical as I can, and I'll see you on the next one.